Hi, my name is Steve Wiedemann. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to use the WordPress SEO plugin by Yoast. Search engine optimization doesn't have to be rocket science, and thanks to plugins like this, we should be able to get everything we need from a bare bones perspective squared away. Starting right after the installation, you're taken to a dashboard. On this dashboard, you see some specific options like reset default settings. If this is the first time you've installed this, you won't need to worry about that. Security says disable the advanced part of the WordPress SEO meta box. Not something that I would recommend doing, so I would go ahead and skip that for now. Webmaster tools. If you are doing managing your own webmaster tools and Google Analytics and so forth, you can use the authentication method of using a meta tag. In most cases, you just need to be logged into the Google account associated with Webmaster Tools to claim the site. So you may not even need that. Bing Webmaster Tools will also give you a meta tag that you can use when you verify your website. Just paste that code in there. And Alexa, if you decide you want to have your site be a Alexa scored site or what have you, by all means you can do that. Will having that help your SEO? Probably not. Bing and Google Webmaster Tools are absolutely critical for identifying specific issues and crawl problems and HTML suggestions that both of those vendors will offer you. So those are the things you could do on that page. Let's move down to the next one, titles and descriptions. Several tabs that we're going to walk through. The first, title settings. So I don't usually use this. What I do is I make sure that the person who installed the website for me has already done kind of the legwork to make sure the title is configured correctly. It's not hard to do. And what we basically want to make sure of, let me give you the tag to use. Just make sure when you go into Appearance and Editor, and if you don't want to lose the page you're on, you can right click on Editor. I don't know what you do on a Mac. Do you Mac click or something weird? Open in a new tab. And then what we could do is go into a file called header.php. When you're in header.php, you should be able to see a title up here. Do you see that? So what could happen if your theme already has a custom way of doing titles because the theme developer is like, I'm smart, I'm going to make sure that my theme offers the ability to do titles and descriptions, which is great, but it uses its own database. When you use WordPress SEO or all-in-one SEO pack, it uses its own custom database that can be imported and exported in most cases, where a theme, probably not. So if you decide to go with a different theme later, you could lose your titles and meta descriptions. So the best practice is to take the basic code and paste. That's the basic code, and you can get that from this video. You can copy and paste, just really simple. That's the code you want to use. It comes with the default installation of WordPress, so if you want to borrow it, it should also be in one of your other themes, like 2011 and 2010 should have the exact same syntax. Click on Update File. If you don't see an Update File button down here, it is likely that the programmer has blocked your ability to change any of these files, which could be a good security precaution, but it also makes your life miserable if you want to try to make changes to templates. In that case, if that has happened, go ahead and give that code, maybe in a notepad file, over to the coder and say, please replace the title tag on my header.php file with this. And then go ahead and click on Update File. Let's go back down. So now you've got the WordPress SEO title and meta description squared away. So we don't need to do this force rewrite titles, which could work, but I've seen instances where I check that and I still don't see my title and description show up. So it's better just to go ahead and change it to the code that you need. Site-wide meta settings. So no index subpages of archives. That is where you would see the page 2, page 3, page 4 pagination issues. And I prefer not to have those pages indexed because they may contain specific sales copy or specific landing pages that I want the user to land on. If they go to Google and a page 2 shows up, there's a lower probability of me converting that user into an actual client. So I try to keep that from getting indexed so that my individual page gets posted, not just a list of the pages. A list of pages doesn't convert as well as the page with all the beautiful copy that you put on it. I like using the meta keywords tag because Google and Bing aren't the only search engines out there. There's still meta crawlers, there's still sites that or web search engines that will use that tag, and metadata is an important thing, so I like to use it. Add the no ODP, which is the Open Directory project. If you're buying an old domain and you find that the title is on your homepage is still showing up with the old business's name and it won't go away, you could add that tag. In most cases, Google, since the Google Caffeine update of 2009, is pretty sharp about picking up this stuff. So less is more. Let's go ahead and leave that off. Add no dir, which is the Yahoo directory. Same thing. Unless you're seeing a problem, I would leave those alone. There's some other options in here, like hide RSD links, hide manifest links, hide short links. I don't like having all sorts of bizarre links in the template of the website. In most cases, like the short link, I've had problems with in the past where a short link will show up as a broken link. So I like to select that one and I deselect the others. This allows other websites to pick up my RSS feed if they want to consume my blog feeds and so forth. So I'd rather not hide those. But I'm going to go ahead and hide the short link because I don't want to create any broken link problems. So that is that one. Let's go to home. So at the top of home, if you have your settings in WordPress set so that you've got a custom home page, then you're probably not going to see this top field. You might see the other fields, but you may not see the home page field. In which case you go to the home page itself under pages and you make the title and description whatever you would like them to be. In this case, I'm using the latest blog posts as the home page, so I need to create a custom title and description. I like to put in the top keywords that I'm optimizing for, such as internet marketing and offline advertising training. I might also do something like SEO workshops and SEO training later on. Again, this is a site I just started working with. Meta description. Remember, these are what show up in Google search results. When somebody does a search for a keyword such as internet marketing training or advertising training, this is what they're going to see. This will be the blue link, and this will be the black text just below. So try to think of something that's going to convince them to click your listing without using the words click my listing. Author metadata. So that's, again, I just put my name in there, whoever the author happens to be. That would be me in this case. And Google publisher page. So if you have a page for your business, this is where you would put that. So pretty smart. Let's go ahead and see if we can grab the Google Plus page while we're in here. Let's do site plus.google.com and then look for your company name. That training guide. Let's see if I've done one. If I have, I can grab the URL right from here. Control C and then Control V. I can get rid of the post at the end and leave it as just the ID here. And save changes. And we'll go to the next one. Post types. Here, if you wanted to take the lazy route and not write custom titles and descriptions for every page on your website, you can absolutely put in some dynamic titles and descriptions. Not something, again, that I'm a huge fan of, so I'm going to skip that because I'm going to edit my titles and descriptions individually. Taxonomies, same thing here. I can decide here if I want to put in some default text. I don't. I like to go into my categories and posts and pages individually. And if you're not, then you might end up having some duplicate content problems, and it's just not a really good user experience to use default anything. The only exception is if you have a store and your products are very similar. In a store, you wouldn't use WordPress anyway. Hopefully, you would use something awesome like SEO cart. Author archives, the same deal. Nothing that we would put there because we're gonna add that information on an individual basis. And then here are the short tags that you could use, not short tags, the dynamic stuff that you can put in. So if you want to put the date into one of your templates, for example, like category, I could easily put that right here. And now my category is going to start with the date. Category updated as of whatever. I don't even know if that would work. I mean, more for the blog post, I think, than anything else. Post templates. And then you can put the title of the post if you wanted to. Here's the title. Written on by. You can put the author name. You get the idea, right? So if you wanted to create some dynamic stuff there, you could. I'm not a huge fan of that. I like to do it on an individual basis. So that is it. Let's see, custom posts. Same deal. All this is allowing you to dynamically put in content where you don't want to manually put it in, which isn't a good idea. Let's go to the next setting, social media. Here's our social settings. So optionally, we can add the open graph metadata, and let me show you what that looks like if it's actually configured correctly on this domain. I'm going to right click, view page source, and you're going to look for these OG tags. I just did a Control F. If you're on a Mac, I think you can hit Command F or Magic Command or whatever the keys are. OG, Open Graph, and then it has some Open Graph information. So if we wanted to do this, basically what it comes down to is micro formats, structured data that social websites and search engines can use and crawl and collect information from. Not a bad idea in today's world to use that type of service. So I would go ahead and select it. And then what you're going to go through and do is, well, this is the theme, so this is special. This is the front page settings for the URL. This is again for Facebook, so if we wanted Facebook to have some special look and feel, you can use an image and a description to best describe that content. And then default settings, it just shows where my logo is. All I've done is put my logo in those fields. So grab your logo, put it in there, and put some description. And you can also add Twitter. Twitter's got some pretty cool stuff they're doing right now too. They've got this new card, Twitter card, brand new as of Q3 of 2012. Twitter's got this Twitter card system. Just put in your Twitter ID, Twitter handle, and the plugin will actually do all the grunt work for you. Very, very cool. Next one on the list is XML sitemaps. And you definitely want to use this. We used to have to use third-party plugins. Now that Yoast has included this as part of the plugin, I'm very happy with it. So we're going to check this box to enable the XML sitemap functionality. Once you've done this, you should be able to right-click on this button, open in a new tab, and you've got all the different XMLs, list of pages basically, that we'll submit to Google Webmaster Tools, such as the post sitemap, which lists, of course, every single post I have on the website, all the way through, and it's prioritized intuitively, where the home page is 100% most important and posts are set to about 60% priority, which is about average for a blog. We can go back and we can have some other plugins in here as well. Category, portfolio, all sorts of really cool stuff that you can do. And here's our pages on the website as opposed to posts. Some cool stuff. Definitely use that. Definitely ping Yahoo and ask. Don't know how valuable that is or if it's made a difference, but if they're going to send Yahoo and ask our XML, let's go ahead and let them do that. If you want to exclude something, like categories or tags, it's very easy to do that. Simply select. Again, I don't want my tags to show up in the search results because the tags are just a list of pages. A list of pages will never convert the way your landing page will. The way that the page, if you're a insurance agent and you have a page on your website that says top insurance agent in Brooklyn, and somehow you've tagged that content so that you've done a post or something and you've tagged with best insurance agent or something, Google picks up on the tag, and instead of getting your awesome page showing that you're the best insurance agent in Brooklyn, the user's going to get a page that shows a bunch of pages that have the tag best insurance agent. nobody's going to click that. They're going to go back to Google and choose someone else. So it's best to get rid of that so you don't have to worry about tags appearing in the search results. I like to keep categories in there though, because categories are important. If I was talking about insurance, for example, and insurance services is my category, under how I decide to do this. If insurance services happen to be my category, I want insurance services to show up in the search result. It makes sense for that to happen, but not for tags. So that is that. That's how I configure it. Again, you're going to want to go to your Webmaster Tools and submit that XML when you have a moment. It's going to do it automatically for you, but it's always better to claim your sitemap yourself. Permalinks. Now, I've done something a little bit different than if you've watched any of my older videos on what I do with permalinks these days. I do like to get rid of that erroneous category that they still put into the URLs by default, so I'll always check that off. It's actually the word category. It's not the category. It's the word category, which doesn't make any sense from a user perspective, so we strip that out. We also like to enforce this trailing slash. That way you don't have two pages that show up in the search results, best insurance agent and best insurance agent slash. So you choose one or the other, and sometimes search engines get a little bit confused and they'll display both and not really sure which one should be showing up. So we like to make it easy for them by enforcing it. Redirect attachment URLs to parent post URL. So if you do have a image or some content and somebody does an image search and your image shows up, this is a way to keep them from just seeing the image. You can redirect them to the page to see the image, so that way you actually get the visit. Otherwise, if they're just grabbing your images, you're not really getting any visits. Remove the reply to. This prevents, as you can see here, prevents threaded replies from working when the user has a JavaScript disabled. But on a large number of sites, this can mean a huge improvement in crawl efficiency for search engines. I haven't really messed with this too much, and as I understand it, it's probably not something you really want to mess with unless you're having problems, so I would go ahead and leave that off. Redirect ugly URLs to clean permalinks. Not something we do. We're already forcing our permalinks the way we want them to be, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that unselected, and leave the canonical settings as they are as well. The canonical is important because if your URL has tracking parameters or something on the end of it, you don't have to worry about those parameters showing up in Google search results. The root URL will be all that displays, because that canonical tag sort of helps you with that. While I'm on that topic of permalinks though, I wanted to show you what we're doing on permalinks now. We used to do category slash page name. In fact, if you do a search for best permalink structure, I think I still have a post in the search results somewheres here that talks about best permalink structure. And we did this study, and the experts still say, hey, the best permalink structure, hey, there's my old site before I moved everything over here, is category keyword. So from a page perspective, I think that probably still stands. If it's yourwebsite.com/insurance services / car insurance, I think that still comes into play. But for blog posts, which is what WordPress is referring to in permalinks, this is referring to blog posts, I like to do something a little bit different. I like to have the post name in here, and I'm also going to put in the year, month, and day. By doing this, it gives each page a unique numeric value, and it allows me to get into news sites such as Google News and CNN Money and so forth, and other really cool sites that may pick up on my content and index it. So that's what I like to do for blog posts. I'll still have my post name in there so I get my keyword, but I also like to put in the date because that's a unique value. Let's go back to our Yoast settings. We were in permalinks. Let's go to internal links. So here's something that you can do if you want to enable breadcrumbs, which give you that nice little navigation at the top and help the search engines know, here's home, here is your category that you're in, and here's the page that you're on. Those breadcrumbs allow the users to crawl back to the category and the search engines to crawl back to the category and understand how your site's organized, even if you create some great custom permalink system. So it's a really good way to stay organized. And what happens is, because it creates a class in your style sheet called breadcrumbs, Google typically will pick up that system and it'll actually display it in the search results. So instead of saying www URL /something/something, it'll have www and then it'll have a link to the category. and maybe a link to the subcategory if you have a subcategory within the search results. So you get more links in Google search results, which I love. So breadcrumbs are a really cool thing to include. Everything else I pretty much leave the same. I put this little tag in here just because I like to have that as a spacer in between the category name and the page I'm on. But everything else is pretty much default. If you're having problems seeing your breadcrumbs show up in here, you're going to want to take this snippet of code, give it over to your web person, and say, please add this to single.php and page.php, maybe even archive.php as well. So that'll help you to stay organized. You don't need to have it on your home page because obviously where are you going to navigate back to if you're already on the route? So those are the 3 pages: your home, your single.php, page.php, and maybe archives.php. RSS. Nothing that I would touch here. If you want to customize what the user sees if they pick up your RSS feed, you can totally do that here. I kind of like the way that my content gets picked up in FeedBurner, and FeedBurner does a great job, and I'm really happy with it how it is as is. Not much I do there. Import and export is if you are moving from All-in-One SEO pack, or from Headspace, or from an old All-in-One SEO pack, or if you're using the old Robots Meta, which is something I used to use a lot before I moved to WordPress SEO. You can click those buttons, import all that information over, and then of course delete the old data as well. I think it's a smart thing to do. And then go ahead and go back, deactivate the old plugin, and everything should be working exactly as it should. And then edit files is great because it gives you the ability to edit your htaccess file, which is this root file on your on the root of your server that allows you to do some pretty cool stuff. If you've moved content, for example, you can create your redirects in this page, but be very careful because if you do something wrong, it'll break your entire website and you won't be able to get back to it. You'll actually have to use a program like FileZilla to edit your htaccess and remove whatever thing that you destroyed. So, for example, what I've done is I have a promo at the moment. If you go to thattrainingguide.com/promo, I have it so that it redirects to the one shopping cart page where I offer the promo right here. So I'm able to do that pretty easy. There it is. Pretty easily using htaccess. Let me show you how that works. /promo. You can be very careful with this file. Watch how the redirect works. It takes me right to any URL I want, either on the website or my shopping cart or whatever. Pretty neat. In some cases you can also edit your robots.txt file from here, but I use a different plugin for that. And I think that's about it for Yoast. This is Steve Wiedemann. If you have any questions, please use the comments below. If this was helpful to you at all, please like it and share it and let me know that in the comments. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.